James Lewis of the Grueling Truth Radio Network, here with Howard Shapiro of Katie's Really Good at Hockey. So, what inspired you to write about Katie and her ability to play hockey?
Well, the book is actually a retcon of a self-published book that I did called Hockey Days, which came out in 2007, and that was about how hockey brought my dad, myself, and it just really how the game, brought him and I closer, helped us bond a lot better. Back when I was playing as a kid, there weren't that many rinks, or hockey was much different than it is now. And in our area, Pittsburgh, there were about maybe 3 rinks, and so just to go to a practice would be a 45-minute drive kind of thing. So we really bonded over that. Just all the time spent together, going back and forth to games and practices. And when he passed away, then I wrote the book as kind of a nice memory for myself and my sons. So what I decided to do now is, because I love the story so much, I decided to retcon it. Instead of a son, father, and grandfather, we have a daughter, mother, and grandmother, and kind of using that same theme of how hockey can bring people, or brings parents, different generations together. So that's the overriding theme of the book.
I mean, I'll admit, Pittsburgh's, it's not Canada, but to not have hockey rinks, I was going to say, how long ago was this?
Oh, this is 1982, 81,
Oh,
82.
okay, that makes more sense. So
yeah,
it was. So it was after
or
before Super Mario, and before Yager, and before Crosby.
Exactly. Yeah, you hit the mark right there. The demarcation line was 83 when they drafted, or 84 actually, when they drafted Mario. Since then, there's probably they had to close one down recently just because there just too much. There was a glut, Yeah. But back then there was I think there were 3 or 4. One of them where we actually used to practice was in a mall, So it was like where the food court is now. It used to be a hockey rink, and so it's changed exponentially, and maybe there was one kids league, now there are dozens, so it's really changed over the years. But yeah, it really took Mario coming to town and really kind of kickstart the sport.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Star of his caliber, I mean, I can imagine that would have a huge impact on the people of Pittsburgh's love of the sport. Because, I mean, obviously you think Pittsburgh, first thing comes to mind is football, then base, back then. And then, of course, now hockey has got a good argument, to be up there with them. But back then I can imagine that it was a much tougher fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, you had the Steelers, the '70s Steelers, Bradshaw and Harris, all those guys. So, and it's always been a football area. And I mean, that's probably always has been, always will be one. Hockey, I'd say 1A now. I mean, especially with the success of the team, and again, the so many kids playing at the game. And but yeah, for a long time. The funny thing was, I mean, you mentioned my dad and we used to go to Penguin games, and there'd be 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people there, kind of thing. But the thing was, they were terrible teams, and I always thought, even back then, that there was enough, there was a base level of support and love of the game that if they ever got good, then it would take off. And they have I don't know how many, 230. 250 straight sellouts, all that kind of thing, and it's so it's really, but it's just one of those things. I think sometimes it just takes that exposure, via a winning team or a generational player like Lemieux or Crosby to bring people in. But I think once you bring them in, then you go to a game when you're physically at the game. It's something really special.
Exactly. I know what you mean. I was going to say, in my area of the country, we have the Cincinnati Cyclones, who have won the Kelly Cup a couple times. And then the other group that is nearby us is the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they, at first had some pretty good draw, but they then, of course, not winning, that kind of killed it there for a while. But I know what you mean. Once people get the experience of NHL level hockey, it's just phenomenal.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And really, you almost go to any game, whether it's Pee Wee's, whatever. When you're there, and TV doesn't really do it justice, unfortunately. And it's one of those things you just really. I mean, my first game was when I was 7 years old, and I wanted to see the red light go on. That was my big thing. Like I said to my dad, "When's the red light going to go?" He's like, "Well, when somebody scores on the Penguins," and just to see when everyone would jump up and just that excitement, and just the whole atmosphere I thought was fun. And
definitely.
Actually, yeah, I mean, Cincinnati's actually a very, rich area with, I think the Cyclones have the coolest, maybe some of the coolest jerseys in all of hockey, but and I think the Blue Jackets have the coolest, when the cannon goes off. I think that's really cool. So that's definitely a really good hockey area as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we've been enjoying it, and it's been great. So in the book, you mentioned the original rendition of this was a father, a son, and a grandfather. So was there any major differences between this storyline and that storyline, or was that the main difference was changing it over?
Yeah, that's a good question. I should have explained it a little better or given a little more context. The Hockey Days book was a 24-page or 28-page kids picture book, really for younger kids, 5 to 9 years old. So this, because it's a 112-page graphic novel, we have a lot more time to explore the relationship and everything. And we threw some kind of different twists and turns that the original book didn't have. Again, just because of timing and length. I mean, I think it's like 800 words, and again, Kate's Really Good Hockey book is 112 pages. So, but that was the thing, the connection or the thread between the two of them is again, that relationship between the
generations.
The mother.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I really like how she is kind of an empowering character. That she would be, in my opinion, I think she's a good role model for young people, because in a lot of books you get these leads where they're very negative or they are very self-absorbed, but it seems has a greater goal in mind.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And that's really the way we wanted to write the character, because it's just one thing if a character's kind of just a stock, where it's they don't change or they just stay the same way, or they're either on the one hand kind of the underdog, or on the other hand they're real obnoxious, and just precocious or whatever. No one likes that kind of character. So the one thing we really wanted to do is have her evolve, and she kind of goes in very myopic and realizes has never battled adversity, and I kind of based her a lot on other sort of young phenoms. When I was playing it, whatever sport it was, where they just they that's all they think about, and they worry more about the stats and things like that. And we wanted her to kind of grow throughout the book and become a really well-rounded character. And so I hope that was accomplished, because that's what we set out to do. And we didn't want her just to kind of be a kind of a rote character where it's just or just have this magical at the end, just I guess I realized what I was doing wrong kind of thing. You really see her stumble and then learn that through her grandmother. This is what is in front of you now, but you can make things better, that kind of thing. So I hope that came across.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, just like you said, how she evolves, how she grows along the way, and then the relationship, just the dynamic where not just the fact that the grandma teaches her, but she also teaches the grandma some things.
Yeah, it's a really fun thing that we did. I thought, at least, because one of my favorite part of the book is when Kate finds out that her grandmother's been this like hockey pioneer from the 50s, and all the kind of adversity she faced, and she says to her, and the illustrator just hit it out of the park when with the facial expressions and just everything she did. But it was like she says to the grandmother that I know you don't like to talk about your past, but would you please tell me some more about it, because she can't imagine an era where they was not allowed to play, just because of who they were or their gender. She just can't, she's not grown up in that era, and she kind of is very inquisitive. And grandmother says, "Yeah, well, sure, for you, I'll make an exception." And it's neat how we go from like the daylight, and then you see them really late into the evening talking and bonding, and it's just a really sweet thing. There's no no dialogue, so it's just you see them how they're just really enjoying each other's company, and so that was a really fun thing to do, and that's probably my favorite part of the book.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that part was phenomenal, and then just the interplay, the relationship with her telling the story to her classmates, and just kind of their responses to everything, I thought was quite interesting as well.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we were kind of looking for a vehicle to kind of tell the story, and we didn't want to do it in a first person way, so we kind of went with the sort of that flashback way. And the original idea I had before I brought my co-author in was that she was telling a first day of school, giving a "What did you do in the summer?" or "What did you do over the summer?" kind of report, and then she would relay that, and then you see the class building and people getting more crowded and people coming in and that kind of thing. So we kind of changed that around a little bit, and then the kids get to see the grandmother at the end, which was something that was a kind of a cool thing. So that really is just born out of a way to how to tell the story. First person, third person, flashback, and we would decide to go with flashback.
Are there any other books in the works?
Yeah, I mean, we're still. This one just came out in November, so we're still actively, trying to get the word out about it. I would like to. I mean, I have a good idea, which I have to go with the co-author. Definitely want to bring the band back together, and I think I have an idea that may work, but it's probably at least a year away. So we're probably looking at the fall of next year, 2020.
Okay, and then definitely we'd love to have you back on for that. What other types of writing do you do? Do you do any reporting or anything like that?
No, actually, by trade, I'm an accountant. I work for a visual effects studio, and that's my daytime job. But on the side, I've done 10 books over the years, 5 specifically about hockey. So it's been kind of a really wonderful second career, and I'm working on one now. I'm also co-authoring with a comedy writer, former comedy writer, and we're doing a kind of a pop culture book, and that's in production now. It'll be out in November 5th, I think, is the release date. So it's just hopefully get back to doing the Kate series over the next hopefully a couple years as well. So nice. That's what I got going now. But again, hopefully it'll be at least another 1 or 2 hockey books to come.
So who is the comedy writer, out of curiosity?
He's a guy named Michael Terry. He now works on Wall Street, so we're both doing this as a kind of thing. He was a comedy and stand-up, I think, for 10 years. He's a really sharp writer, just a really. And I'm not a comedy writer or comedy person per se, so I really had to step up my my writing game to try and compete with his very insightful and humorous writing. So it's been a fun project to do so far, and we're about just about a third of the way through. So we're working our way through things now.
Sounds great. If fans are wanting to find you on social media and on the web, where's the best place to do that?
Instagram, I have my account is HFS222, and Twitter, the handle is Hockey Player. And if anybody wants to go to the publisher's website, it's under Animal Media Group. It's all one word, animalmediagroup.com. And any orders to that site for the book we'll autograph them, and I can also send out a few bonus items, some bookmarks and some other hockey-related bonuses. And that's the website has information about all of our hockey books. So definitely check it out.
Excellent. I'd like to thank our guest today, Howard Shapiro, the author of Katie's Really Good at Hockey. Definitely appreciate you coming on today for a segment for the All-Star game coming up. So all kinds of great stuff hockey-related out there.
For sure. Absolutely. And I really appreciate it, James. It was a lot of fun to speak with you.
Excellent.